Guys, there is a big problem with this story. This was the moment Anambra-based native doctor Ikechukwu Ezenago was taken to court to be arraigned. Unfortunately, due to his health condition, the case could not go on after the judge saw him and had to adjourn the case till June. At first, when the video circulated, people claimed that he was faking, pretending, and acting like a child just so to avoid the legal process. Although rumors about his health crisis had been spiraling as far back as early March when the story first broke out. But here is the question for most people who are just finding out about this case. Why is this man being taken to court? What did he do? Because to be honest, whenever we talk about a native doctor going to court, is usually one or two things. They have killed somebody for human sacrifice, or they've been caught in the possession of a human part. So what did this man do? Because I can tell you something, this is not about money rituals. He has not been said to have killed anyone or been seen with any human part. Apparently, there is some kind of Homeland security laws in Anambra State that they believe this man had gone against and had breached. And I believe that is why he's being taken to court. But the story seems to be a lot more deeper than that, because people are beginning to suspect witch hunting. Back in March of 2026, around the 13th, the native doctor was arrested by the Agune Chamber Strike Force in Inewi, Anambra State. Now, this Agune Chamber Strike Force is a security group established by the Anambra State government. It's unclear what their main aim was. However, Mr. Ezenago, that is the native doctor himself, was known to always parade himself on social media as a powerful native doctor, offering solutions to people's life problems. He was also known for showing off his expensive lifestyle on social media, and the Agune Chamber Strike Force went to his residence earlier that day, the 13th, to arrest him. They searched his house and took him into custody because they said he was doing things that broke the Homeland security law. And this is the part that is making people confused. What does that mean? As a native doctor, by rights, he is entitled to his religious belief. But there is a line between the Homeland security laws and his personal religious beliefs. From what we understand, part of why he was being accused of breaking Homeland security was because they feel that his practices is deceitful and misleading to the youth of the community. They say that he was encouraging young men and women to come to a river or a stream behind his land, promising them quick wealth or power if they bathed there or followed his rituals. At the parade after his arrest, officials said such action were against the law and could mislead the youths. And a lot of people have questions to that. It's not as though he is pressuring or forcing these young people against their will. And it's not as if any of the youths who have gone to require his services have ever complained or reported him for doing something they were uncomfortable with. I might be wrong, but this seems like a mutual agreement or some kind of mutual consenting between adults over religious practices. However, though, it seems like Anambra recently just had their Homeland security laws updated or known. Maybe it has been there for a while. I'm not sure, because if it has been there for a while, they would not have come to hold him right now, because they would have done this a long time ago. Since 2025, the Anambra State government have been cracking down on native doctor believed to be into ritual practices. Those herbalists who portray themselves as powerful on social media and who they believe are into some underground illegal, ritual killings, I believe. But again, to be fair to the security team, they did say that he had been warned several times in the past about his actions, and they have given him enough time to actually stop. And I think this is a good thing. I don't think, if this is the case, then this is not witch hunting. If he has been warned and told to stop and has been cited about the laws he's breaking and he still continued, then I guess maybe the government have the right to go and chase a case against him, if indeed he has been legally warned. That is, if the law itself is brand new, since I'm hearing it for the first time. So it is helpful to know that he was wondered about what he was doing. But here is the very interesting part about this story. After he was arrested, he was taken to the river and told to summon the water spirit if he claims to be that powerful. However, he could not. A video showed him ringing a bell trying to summon the water spirit so that he can prove his case. But then again, the thing is, I might be wrong, and I'm not trying to take sides with the native doctor, but just to be logical and fair, yeah. Isn't spirit something no one can see? So if for some reason he could summon the water spirit, would the people who came to arrest him be able to see it? From what I know, you can't see spirit. Spirit only shows up to people that they want to see. So whatever comes out of that water will not even be a spirit. Or maybe they needed a sign. Maybe they needed the water to go up. Or maybe they needed a fish or something to fly. But nothing happened, I guess. The interesting thing and the ironic thing about this moment, from what we are hearing, it is alleged that some of the people who came to arrest him also had things that looked like charms in their own hands and around their neck. It's funny how, and I think this is the moment in my mind where I feel like it's looking like witch hunting. A native doctor coming to oppress another native doctor. Because how do you have juju and charms all around you and you're trying to arrest somebody who is also in that line of belief? Make it make sense. But to be fair though, the charms and the juju is a personal belief. And I think the thin line here is when you start marketing yourself as such to get youths to come into your business and collect money. Because I feel like this man made a huge amount of wealth from his spiritual ritual cleansing. I feel like that is how he made most of his money. And it seems as though some native doctors in that line of business might be jealous of him. It appears as such. But if there is a law against it, then there is a case against him, in my opinion. Just to be fair. After the arrest, Ezenagu made an apology video, said he was not aware that what he was doing was a crime. He asked the state government and the state governor and the people of Anambra State to forgive him.
My family Ezenagu Ikechukwu John Paul, popular known as Momilia Fulani. I am here to plead to our able governor, Professor Chukwumacha Soludo, and the entire Anambra, all the Anambrans, that I'm very sorry because I didn't know how the law works. But now that I've realized and I've known, I promise that I will never practice or make such a mistake again in going to the river to do any sacrifice. That's my promise. I pleaded that if there is a means of forgiveness, I pleaded to our able governor, Professor Chukwumacha Soludo, and the whole Anambra State government, they should please pardon me for these mistakes. I cannot do it again. That's my promise.
But that did not really change anything because he was still being investigated, and then he was handed over to the police for legal process, which includes charging him to court for breaking Homeland security. But this is the problem here. A lot of people are like, okay, this is good. Going after native doctors that claim to be powerful, deceiving the youth, collecting their money, making them do horrible things just for wealth. Some will have to buy soap. Some will make soap out of dead lizard, dead animals. Some people are pressured to kill. We know what money ritual is doing to our society. Let's not even go there. Like, let's go there. These native doctors have really monetized this craft, and they found ways to enrich themselves while making their gullible customers go out there to commit serious crimes. Many of these crazy things that people do in the society are most times linked to rituals. It's not just killing people for rituals. Sometimes somebody randomly sleeping with a mad woman, forcing themselves on pregnant people or little kids. Those things are most times things that are believed to be ritual based. Even the Wahako serial killer that happened back in the day, back then too, there were rumors that the killer was in a cult, and part of why he was killing those girls was because he needed to rank up in that cult. So when you see things like these, a lot of the crimes are linked to people believing that it can bring out wealth. And that is a problem. That is a problem. But the problem is it's not just limited to native doctors. Unfortunately, people who call themselves men of God, pastors, prophets, they are also in the same line. And I think the society are saying that if you're going to crack down on native doctors, do the same for fake pastors. I agree. But what does it mean to be a fake pastor? Because in my opinion, any pastor who is preaching miracles or preaching certain things that is very overly spiritual and making their members do things to get certain kind of blessings, I feel like those things also count. But I would have to probably read up on the law to understand that part of the Homeland Security in Anambra State. But it's unfortunate. The man now is going to be in the hospital. They said he has been really sick. I don't know if this is a strategy to get out of court, but at the end of the day, he still would have to still go to court. And I might be wrong. He may have a fighting chance though, because all they need to do is maybe prove that, he deceived the youths or something. And for that to happen, it will mean that there are witnesses or people who have worked with him that did not see results. We are expecting that when he goes to court, because we don't know what the police investigation has found out, and when this kind of situation goes to court, a lot of his clients, a lot of his people he has worked with would have to testify against him. All the young boys and young girls who have fallen for his shenanigans would come out and say something, because I feel like the prosecution would have that as part of their proof and evidence. Unfortunately, he would just have to be the one that would help change the course of how herbalists work. Because if you tell somebody, do this, do that, do this, come and bait here, bring this amount of money, do this, sleep with that, kill this person, do this, and they do everything because you told them to, and yet they still did not get wealthy and rich, there's a problem. There is a big problem. And I think that should go without saying. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the richest native doctors that we've heard of, apart from the other one that happened in Enugu State that has been arrested and his house has been burnt. But that one had a ritual case. This one, we've not heard anything about him killing anybody, unless maybe that will come out in court too, because we don't know what they have against him. And honestly, I would like to know what they have against him. And for him to be falling sick, assuming he's faking it, shows that he knows what they have against him. Because if there's nothing against him, he would come outside, I guess. It's really interesting to see. I hope he gets better. The health thing is very important because, he needs to see this to the end. And I hope he gets, for some reason, I don't know. It depends on how bad the case is. How many people has he deceived though? But you guys let me know your thoughts. Do you think this should also apply to fake pastors who perform miracles? The way they took him to the river to summon the spirit, they should take him to those pastors who heal the blind, heal the sick, who change people's cancer. Then themselves should bring out their own sick victims and make these pastors heal them. And if they don't, they should be arrested too. But the thing is, I think for religion, many of these people in the law are also believers and Christians. So it's going to be biased in that regard. Another way too is, the believers and Christians, we've already make it known that miracles happen to those who have faith. So it's not about what the power of the man of God can do. It's about what the person who needs the miracle believes in. And if they don't have faith, they won't get healed. And I think that's a smart way out of it. Because native doctors don't preach faith. They preach, do this, do that, bathe with this soap around 2 a.m., sleep with this mad woman, collect her hair, sleep with her grandfather, cut her lip, cut the breast, do that, do this, pound it around midnight, go to the forest, once the moon show, do that. That's their own thing. You got to do these things. And if you do it and it does not work, then it's fraud. Then it's criminal. And yes, you're deceiving the youths, in my opinion. Because these youths these days are very gullible and desperate. They would do anything as long as somebody promises them something in return.